What is the biggest mistake that I see families make in the college admissions process? This is actually really easy for me to answer, and that is having a whack college list. Do not have a messed up college list. If your list is screwed up, the chances are your student is not going to have a great time in this process. If your student's list is really balanced and is a really good fit for them, then the chances are, and when I say chances, I mean literal, like statistical odds, are that they will have a better time in this process. So, how do you build a balanced college list? A balanced college list is going to be specific to each student. Looking at a student's test scores, if they're going to submit those, looking at a student's grades, the rigor of their coursework, their extracurricular accomplishments. These are all going to be taken into account to know what a balanced list is for them. A student's list does not need to be perfectly cut up between safeties, targets, and reaches. In our practice, we don't even really use those terms because they're so meaningless at this point. But what you want to look at is a likeliness spectrum of where is it likely that your student will be admitted. If your student's list is comprised of almost entirely unlikely options, what do you think is going to happen in spring? Again, statistical odds are is that they're not going to get into most of the colleges they apply to. More and more often, we are seeing, news stories that are like flashy and scary that are like, this student with a perfect SAT score and perfect GPA got into none of their colleges. That is a list problem. That is not that is not a problem for anyone else but that student and their whack list. Guaranteed that student is only applying to the most selective colleges in this country. So even if your student has done everything right, you want to make sure there are colleges on their list that are going to give them scholarship, going to be more affordable, and are more likely to admit them. Having that balance, again, it's a likeliness spectrum, looking at the average GPA and the mid range test scores for that school and how selective they are. One more problem I see that's kind of part of this issue is make sure that your student loves their whole list. If your student is like, oh yeah, I'm only applying to the most selective colleges in the country, but I'm applying to in state public school. And then if I ask, would you go to that in state public school? And then your student says, no, I don't want to go there. That's a problem because again, odds are that that's the school they'll get into. And then they're going to end up feeling like crud during this process if that's the only one they get into. So, making sure that the student loves every school on their list. Don't waste your time and money on applications for schools they're not actually going to go to. I see this a lot also with parents' alma maters where they're like, I want my kid to go to the school I went to or at least apply. I can't make you not do that. But just know it's a waste. It's a waste of your students' time and your money. So, trying to make sure that they have a balanced list, meaning that they're going to have schools they get into, schools where they may get scholarship or honors programs, and you can put on some of those super reachy, difficult schools to get into. But making sure the big caveat is that they actually like all those schools. They don't have meaningless safeties that they don't intend to go to on their list. Okay, that's the biggest problem. Make sure your list is balanced. If you need help balancing your list, reach out to your counselor. We are super happy to help talk you through that process and make your list more balanced.